forth and get that there. So yeah, that's going to be pretty exciting to actually have go from a garage to an actual real facility. It's pretty exciting. So yeah.
Feels like a business.
It kind of does now, but it will really feel like one when it's in its own place. Yeah.
Jim, are your employees, are the people who work for you employees or are they contract?
So I have 7 full-time actual employees and 7 part-time actual employees. And then I have sales reps that are 1099 that sell our product. And that's my job in the company, is to do the sales and marketing. So I take that whole role on and I do all that. I go travel trade shows. I take my PTO here to go fly to Atlanta and Vegas and California, and I do a lot of trade shows. And now this year I finally put back off because I have my teams in place and they know my product. I don't need to show up that much. I can pick the phone up because I've seen them 4 or 5 years in a row now, and they don't need me there. They can do it. I just do a quick video conference. We get on a thing. I get 18 people. So this year last year I did about, I think, 10 trade shows that I flew out to. This year I'm only going to do 2 because they're trained. They know what they're doing now. And so I have 45 sales reps that I'm going to be picking up that other 18. So I'll have just right around 60 probably by the end of the year that go out and sell the product for me. So that's another way of, like when I say go hustle, you can only sell so much. So you can scale your business to a point, but then you're going to run into you only have so much time in a day. And growing a business, you need to find out what you're good at and try to do that and get other people to either team up with you or hire it out or sell it, but you're going to run into a part where you can only do so much in a day. And that's the trick that I figured out. Actually, it was a blessing working here because I learned how to build a team with my parents and my in-laws and this of how they don't need me. So the whole point of building a business is not to have a job, right? I thought it was to have a job, but I learned because I had a day job, it forced me, how can I run this business and grow it where it doesn't depend on me? So I can walk away for 2 or 3 months and it will still keep growing. And I'm in charge of sales and marketing. So that's pretty cool. So if you can get to that point where it doesn't depend on you, but yet when you come in, you can still have that influence. And that won't happen right away. And even for me, I still have to have my presence there. But the whole point is to build your team to not need you. And that is when you have a successful business, at least I personally think. Is when you can walk away and they got it. Yep.
Maybe I showed up late, maybe you answered this before. Where did you go, or when did you go from a product, having a product to sell, to a business, creating a product and selling?
Yeah. So you missed the very beginning?
Yeah.
Okay, so my dad made a product real quick, and we went to a trade show down in Minneapolis where store owners come to buy product to put in their store. So we just had an idea. We sold 7 pairs of earrings at a little craft show, and we said, let's go see if we can have stores buy our product. So we went down there, and we signed up 7 stores to sell our product. And at that time, we had no equipment, we didn't have any, we farmed everything out. We didn't make anything. And now I have lasers, printers, heat presses, and so I have all the machinery that I need now. But at the time, we didn't have any of that. And so we went and signed up those 7 stores, and then we had to go farm out to different people to make our product for us. We had someone in Moose Lake, someone in the cities, and someone in Wisconsin that we all were waiting to get the stuff to put it together to get it out. And so we had that idea of, I don't know if you can hear that, we put a graphic on a fishing lure and we made an earring and went down there to sell it and people wanted it. So then we just, 7 turned into 20 turned into 50, then do 100, and then to 200, then 500, and we're right around that 1,000 store right now. So, yep.
Yeah, the other thing that I think you're saying, you have to confirm it, and that is when you start going down that road, you learn every step along the way, and you keep building. I mean,
Yeah.
You start out with metal, and you come up to wood.
Yep.
So then who do I know? And so again, the more you're in this business, the more you're going to learn, the more contacts you're going to get if you just pay attention, and it kind of keeps snowballing.
Yeah. A good saying that I like is it's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who knows what you know. And that's why this right here, this custom part, is taken off, because in my industry, people know I'm the go-to person for custom products. It's not just me, they know I can go get other stuff. So they come to me, not just for my product, but other things, so they're knowing that I know information in that saying there, I don't remember who said it, I watched it on the thing, but that's totally right, because they know that I know things that I can get for them. So,
That didn't happen overnight.
no, that did not happen overnight, that happened. Real quick, another funny story is this, so these sales reps, there's a big group, and I was telling you this earlier, there's like A, B, and C levels. I started out with the C, and I wanted to get in the A group, and I went over there, and they said, no, we're not taking you. And they said, oh, you will, you just wait. So a year later, as we kept growing, I went and showed him what we did, and he's like, nope, still not good. Next year, we got him. So year 3, it's in the Minneapolis sales rep that does the Midwest. And once I got him, it snowballed, because he told all his buddies that are the A-lister reps around the country. So I'm in a top showroom in Atlanta, in Vegas, in California now, in Seattle, because of this guy. I got in with him, and he picked the phone up and said, hey, listen to Jaron, we're selling this product really good, check it out. So that one phone call that guy made got me into all the A-lister sales reps that are going like this and getting us into these big stores. So it was persistence. It was, I got told no a couple times by the guy that I know I needed to get into, and it was just, you just don't give up.
Any more questions for Jay?
I want to add that you would find it hard to believe that he still does A-plus work for us, but he does. Because he's got the, I would call it the integrity to say, hey, I'm working for East Central Energy right now, that's my job. And he's done good work for us, but I'm amazed, I've talked to him many times, I can't believe the energy you have and able to do it, so, very good.
Yeah. One thing I'll add to that is, a good thing of having the day job while you're doing it is you're not siphoning money out of your business. And this is my parents and my in-laws, this is their only income they have too. So, because in the 08 hit, they lost everything. So that was why we kept creating businesses. And so for me, I don't need the money. For me, I just do it because it's just fun. I mean, sure, I want some money and I want to get rewarded for it. But if I left, and I could take Mike's big enough now, but it would slow the business down and it would hurt my parents and my in-laws financially because they would have to take less. And that just slows down. The fun of it is keep growing. So once you start taking money out, you're gonna run out of the cash flow problems.
Interesting structure you have with your in-laws and parents. Is there a stock, like you own a third, they own a third? they own
Yeah,
a third?
boy, this could be a whole nother hour session, but so we all own 1/6 equally.
1/6.
So each family owns 33.33%.
Okay.
But defining the roles and who should be doing what is the hard part. That right there, especially when you work with family.
Why don't you,
Tell you what,
why don't you tell much about it?
I sent her home for a week. Yeah, I had to send her home for a week because of bad behavior. That's not easy.
Yeah.
And our relationship has never been the same, but you have to have accountability regardless if they're your family members. And when someone's not doing something right, you got to deal with it. And, so I had to step up to the plate. And I tell you what, if you ever go into business with family members, I recommend don't. Because if I look back, I would not do it again. And unless I know certain family members would, most of them I wouldn't, because you have to be willing to wreck part of your relationship if you want to run a business, because there has to be structure and there has to be accountability. And if there isn't, which we've run into a lot, it's very hard to have, once you bring employees on and they start seeing how certain people get treated a certain way, that causes division. And when that happens, you're going to have your company fall apart. Because at the end of the day, if you know this better than anybody, it's the people run the business. It's not the people up here. It's that make the decisions are great, but the day-to-day doesn't happen without the right people like me here at UC. I go out and I work on the meters so that we can get the bills, right? If I don't go out and get the readings, there's no money coming in because the bills aren't right? So being here and having my own thing has taught me so much from the flip side on each side of how important certain things are and how to treat people too. Because I get both sides. I'm a boss and I'm an employee. And I know how I want to be treated, so I want to be treated that in turn. So when you have the family members come in with my mom and she has a different style of leading, and I'm over here and we're equal owners, and she thinks ownership means leadership, this is what happens. Because it's not. You can be an owner, but it doesn't mean you're a leader of a company, it doesn't mean you're a manager, and it doesn't mean you're a supervisor. So early on, I wish we had somebody come in sooner than later and help us structure this, and we're still working on it, and it's still not the point of who is in charge of what, yep.
Oh, I was just going to ask, what happens if they don't want to do that? I'm here for something I'm trying to develop, but I'm in a farm partnership with two brothers, been in it for 25 years.
Yep.
We haven't had a business meeting for 15 to 20 years.
Well, that's trouble.
Yes, entirely. I mean, you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah. Oh, so you know exactly what I'm going through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yet they don't want to because, my mind's made up, don't confuse me with the facts.
Well, I can tell you right now from my experiences, if that's where they're at, you either have to be A, okay with that, going into it knowing, or B, you have to have that talk of when this comes up, what is going to happen. Because if you're okay with it or you're not, you're going to run into it regardless. So if you get into that, you have to know that things are going to come up that you're not going to be okay with, but you got into it. If you're not, if that's what they're going to do, and if they're not going to do what you said and have these talks and do that, you got to walk away or just do it, because what are you going to do? They're your brothers, right?
Yep.
So I run into that too. We butt heads all the time because we disagree on leadership, how to manage people, how to supervise, how to structure a business. I mean, Steve knows this. I've talked to him plenty of times about things. The hardest part that I found out is how to build a team, but not even just a team. How do you build a cohesive team up top so that you can set an example for the people below you? And when you can't do that, you can see it on a day-to-day basis that these people below you, they go, well, these guys, they don't work together. Why do we gotta work together? Or they get away with this, so I can get away with this. And then when you try to call one out down here, they're like, that's hypocritical because you don't do it at this level. And when you don't do that, you have a division in your company and you can't grow how you want to grow because you're fighting each other. And it's like a tax. You're taxing each other. Like your business has a tax. So like, is it 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%? Like my business has gone all the way up probably to a 70% tax because we're fighting each other. And it's gone like this. And every time I can step back and I can see, wow, if we were not doing this, think of where we'd be being. Because what you say, we've had meetings where you're just fighting each other. And I'm like, we gotta figure these things out. We have reviews that come up, we gotta figure out someone wants a raise, we need to hire more people. We don't even get to that stuff because we're arguing about silly little things because we disagree.
But you have that discussion. In my case, we don't get it.
Well,
You know,
I have a hard enough time when I get to that part. I'm trying to get to the next level, so
right.
I can't imagine not even getting to that part. But I would say for you, if you really want to have that talk, you got to sit down with your brothers and just say, hey, we're going to have this meeting. And you got to call it and say, this is what we're going to talk about. Send an email or call and say, we're going to spend 2 hours off-site somewhere, not business related. And just get down and get to the nitty-gritty and say, this is where I'm at personally, and to go forward, I need to have these laid out or it's not going to work for me because this is just causing me too much stress, or you're just seeing the business is not going to go anywhere. And so I think you got to have that conversation with them and call that meeting. Because I can say it personally, because I've let things go for far too long because I didn't think I was the leader of the group, so I used an excuse of, well, I'm waiting for my dad to do it because he's the CEO. And that is the wrong thing to do because I learned a leader is not a position. And it took me a while to figure that out. But once I figured that out, things started to change because it's like you can lead and not actually be in an authority position. Authority position definitely helps because you can get more done, but it doesn't stop you from leading. So that's what I got to say on that.
Yeah, working with family sometimes gets difficult if, like, your family roles, was one or maybe both people kind of approach the relationship in the business like the same as in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yep, and I have a little bit of that gets tough.
Yeah.
But that's the talk you have to have on, you have to go, I think you might have told me this, is it level 10 meeting? Yeah, you gotta go deep, you have to hit to those roots. If you don't do that, you're not gonna get to where you need to go. And I've been in many meetings where you're just talking about the subsurface stuff. And everybody knows, we call this meeting to talk about this, but no one wants to go there because you gotta open up wounds. You gotta go past those. And it might take a while to get to that level 10 meeting, but you have to get there, because if you don't get there, you're never gonna resolve the problem. It just won't happen, and I've kidded myself many times thinking that it's good, we had a great meeting, this was great, and then the next week we're like, I know we didn't talk about it, and I know it's gonna come up again. And
And even if you do talk about it, doesn't mean it's gonna get resolved.
no, it doesn't, and that's the part where I've learned that you can't change people, and when you put expectations on certain types of people, it can get very frustrating. I put expectations on my mom, and she's not that type of person. And I've expected things of her because she's in a role in the business, but she's not capable of doing that. So now you run into two problems. One is I think this position should have this kind of personality or this kind of leadership, and you don't have it. What are we going to do? Well, she'll be like, well, I'm just going to keep this position. But at the same time, I know she can't do it. And she's an owner, and she's my mom. And so how do I have that conversation on, you need to have these expectations to have this role, but it's not that, that's me wanting it. Is that what our DR's business is agreed upon? Because now you gotta talk about what of a company of whole, do you want to be a family business or an NFL business, and where in the line you want to be? Is it pure performance? Or is it, I have a family member, because they're a family, they're gonna get away with a certain amount of things because they're there. And that's the talk you gotta have. And I've had many of these, and I'm still trying to figure out where I fall on this line, because some days I'm over here, and some days I'm like, nope, we're 100% family, and so it gets really tough. So once and I got it's 6 of us. So, and we all think, and we've taken a personality test, a pretty expensive one actually, we spent time with a coach to go over it. We're all 100% in a different category. There's not one of us in one category, and it causes, it's the best though, because you have gifting and talents, you just have to get to work together. And that's the trick that I'm working on, is if we can get to work together, you're unstoppable. The problem is it's like a conundrum, and how do you do it? Yeah, so that's the deep side of business outside of selling and the fun side. That's the how do you keep it moving? Because it's all fun and dandy when you're growing 60 to 100%, and I'm gonna, we can double next year, but the stress and all the family and all that stuff, that's the price you pay to keep doing that. And anyone here that's in a business of knows every time you have a business that you keep growing and doing, there's always a price you have to pay. And eventually some people go, is it worth it? So, and I've thought that before, is it worth it to ruin my relationship with my mother? And I'm like, I'm gonna send her home. And that's ruined it a little bit. I mean, we're back on good terms, but that's tough.
Have you thought about paying her to stay home?
Yeah, I have actually. I've told my wife I'll give her a raise. But that's not gonna help it, because it goes back to earlier, I'm not solving the root.
Yeah.
I'm putting a Band-Aid over trying to get rid of a problem and trying to push it aside. That's all that's gonna do.
My uncle owns a business and both of his daughters work for him, and he was grooming his oldest daughter to take over the business, and he realized it wasn't gonna work. He basically paid her for 6 months to stay home, and at the end of the 6 months, and they had that hard discussion.
Yeah, and I can have that, but see, for me, I'm not financially tied to years of income, they are. So that's not something I'm willing to do for them, because they have nothing outside of this. They have no retirement. So for me, it's more important for my family to have this than to just grow it. Because at the end of the day, a business is not worth the money and the growth. It's the people you work with, right? And I think that's what I've learned from you, Steve, even asking to mentor me, is I've looked at, what do you do here to try to get the cohesiveness of people to work together? It's not about money, it's not about all the fame and all this thing. It's the people you work with, of building a culture and a community that you enjoy being with. And so for me, I would rather not make the money, not grow to a $10 million company, and have my family be financially sound and not get what I want. Because to me, that's actually what I want, is I want that. Because I can go and scale another business or team up with someone else and find that culture if I want to, because there's tons of opportunities. I don't have to be tied to years, which I said earlier. I can walk away and this thing can keep moving. And that's the blessing of ECE, is I had to build it like that on the sales and marketing channel to keep it going without me, because I can't put 40 hours a week into sales. So how do I do it? I go build a team that goes and knows my product, and I only have to pick the phone up and start doing text now, every now and then. So I had to rethink how to do it, because I can't do it on my own. So I guess that what I'd say is, I don't really care where the business of Deers goes sales-wise or where it grows. As long as my family's happy, that's success in Deers for me. I would love for it to just go crazy, but if that's not what they want, then I don't want that. And that's a talk that you gotta have, like, where does everybody, your brothers want to do? You know, where do they wanna go? Because you gotta have your vision of your company, and if everybody's not on that vision, and I've heard this many times, we all think it's, oh, I have a product that I wanna sell. I have this over here. Well, I'm directing the vision because I'm selling, I'm going like this, because no one's clearly laid out what they want, and then I run into roadblocks, and like, we don't want a Canada distributor, blah, 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 I'm like, well, no one's told me this. Well, that's not our vision. Well, what's our vision? So we have six individual people that need to agree upon what is Deere's vision. So you have each individual visions, but what is Deere's? Because it's its own entity. So that's what I'm trying to work with my parents right now. What do we want Deere's to be? I know what I want it to be, but if it doesn't match what you want it to be, it doesn't matter. We have to agree on it because there's give and take on everybody there.
I can certainly see that. Our family farm is a century farm. We've been family members on the same property since 1884, 87, something like that. And that's the cool part. The uncool part is because you have plopped yourself down in that one spot, you may miss the next economic opportunity where it's 4 miles away, 40 miles, 400, because we're staying on Grandpa's farm.
Yeah.
It isn't even our farm, even though we may have owned it for 20-some years. You know, we're not going anywhere because this is where we are. And at 30 cents on the dollar or 50 cents on the dollar place that you might economically justify really good, now it costs you $1.50 to do $1 because you got to retrofit up here. And that's a challenge.
Yeah.
Any more questions for Jared? If not, thank you. Yeah, 10 bucks worth of product.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna change things up. Why? Because I can. If you came in here today with an idea, want to start a business, or have something specific to share, show me a hand. Okay?
Good idea.
Okay? So, what I'm gonna do is all the rest of you get the egg time. Because we're gonna be out of here before 8 o'clock. Okay? So we're just gonna start right here. I know you've been here before. So, who are you? What do you do? Why are you here?
Hello, everybody. My name is Tracy Peterson. I do several part-time jobs, but my business is Home Buddy Pet Care. Actually, Home Buddy LLC. It's in-home care for pets and like house sitting. So I go to your house to watch your animals while you're away on vacation or whatever. And I'm here just with my connected. I live in Pine City, but I cover like a 40 mile radius from Pine City.
I did that, passed away, I could have used you so many times.
Need business cards? Business cards, pass them out. Next.
I never bring enough.
I wish I could argue more, but I can't.
My name is Quinn Johnson.
I don't.
Sorry.
That's a put you out there. My name is Quinn Johnson. My brothers and I own a small sweet corn stand, and we are interested in expanding to a neighboring town. We're out in North Branch, and we're looking to expand this year. And I'm also interested in property management for real estate. So I figured I'd come in and
Jerry's the guy,
try
right there.
and learn as much as I could. And I really enjoyed it, so I would say that.
Thank you. I know you've been here before, but
John Fitzger's name, and Warren Davis recently built a building, Diversified Bronze, in this is Brandon Industrial Park, and I work for him. And I came here because he told me that he's a board member or something.
he's one of the board members for this club.
Yep, yep, and I've always been interested in entrepreneurship, and so that's why.
Great.
I'm Kim Porcher, I'm from Graham here, and I'm very entrepreneurial. It's in my heart, and I've had a bunch of little businesses along the way. I have ideas rolling around in my head, so it's been really encouraging to come in here every day, and so, I'm just gathering all the information, and really appreciate everybody that's here, that's putting this on, it's really wonderful.
Thank you. Tom?
Tom Mellon, PRW Consulting, I have my own consulting practice. If you want to call it consulting, business coaching, or whatever, and I work with the small business development center out of contract, so, and it's similar to what Nancy.
Which is a good lead into Nancy.
Yeah, and I'm Nancy Hoffman with the Chisago County HRA EDA, so we're an economic development office. And also a small business development center satellite office, so we do work with businesses or potential businesses one-on-one. And I tell you, I learn more from listening to this than I do from any classes that we go to or whatnot, just because I think it's those experiences that you can relate so much to the work that you do when you're trying to help somebody else with their business. So I love this.
I'm not purposely, well, I am purposely skipping you through this.
Right, I
Good to see
You
you.
already know.
So Linda,
Linda Lidla, I run a company called Raven Performance Group. I work with frustrated and overwhelmed business owners, trying to help them find balance and run more profitable and enjoyable companies. So, and that's what I do.
Where were you 4 years?
she was in the business.
I know.
I own a manufacturing company for 25 years.
Sandy.
Well, I'm Sandy Voigt, and I'm the director of a newly created Women's Business Alliance Center, and that is specifically designed to assist women entrepreneurs, either that are starting or wanting to grow their businesses, and support peer groups, et cetera, for specifically, again, some of the challenges for female ownership and how they go through those processes, and either with some peer groups or getting connected to the resources like the small business development centers or everyone else that's listed in the resource guide. And making sure that you're aware of what's there and what's available and how we can assist you.
Great, thank you. Next.
My name is Brad, I'm with Partners Funding, we're out of Fairmont, Minnesota. And the history with myself, large company, $1 billion division with, 10 to 12 years working with my wife, going through everything Jared went through. I just love listening to all that, it was spot on with everything, there's nothing I could say different. We had to sell the businesses because of cash. We were growing too fast, I needed to grow real fast. Didn't have cash to grow, sold it. Had health issues. Right then and there, I decided at 50 years old, my passion is to help businesses. So what I do is I help businesses. Now, how do I do that? First and foremost, be a resource. So I know a lot of investors, I know a lot of consulting folks, I know a lot of financial. What I do to get paid, our company actually takes the question out of when you get your cash, when you bill somebody. We fund receivables the next day, and that helps the growth aspect. So that's what I do. I kind of look at it secondarily because my passion is to help businesses. So I'm Brad with Partners Funding.
Hey, Brad, in the back.
I'm Derek Zeiler, I'm Vice President with Unity Bank. Prior to coming to Unity, I spent 17 years as a commercial relationship manager with US Bank. I also sat on a number of boards in Wisconsin, Grantsburg Industrial Development Corporation. We built 2 enterprise centers in Grantsburg, which help provide space for startup companies. I also sat on a board for Northwest Regional Planning Commission in Spooner, operating several of their loan funds. My parents have owned a couple of businesses. My uncle owns his own business, so a little bit of entrepreneurialism in the family as well. So I'm just here as a resource and to help learn what other people are doing.
Great, thank you. Jordan, you want to speak?
Jordan Zeller with the East Central Regional Development Commission. I always say I'm the dumbest person in the room, but I got the best Rolodex. All about connecting people to the right resources that are out there. As mentioned, we got copies of our business assistance directory. Feel free to grab one of those before you go home. Want to brainstorm, want to, chew the fat, figure out what kind of resources are out there to help. Feel free to give me a call. My cards are there too. Thank you.
All right.
Can you also point out that there are some business cards for tools for business success, and it's a web page on the GPS site. GPS 4593 is a regional economic development group. But you can go to it and find just a ton of information. Yeah, Jordan has the cards back there. Just, all these categories.
Thank you, Vanna.
Sometimes if you want to, yeah, it's nice when you want to do some research at home, and maybe it helps you ask the right questions of another person, but it's a good resource. So we'll plug in for that.
Come on up here. Yeah. Come on up here. You got something you want to talk about?
No, not really.
You got something you bet?
But I didn't say my name.
No, come on. You had an idea. You got,
Actually, my name is Tina McGrath. I'm in career changes right now. I'm gonna start working for building the business for myself. I've helped build two home healthcare agencies, local ones. And I decided that I'm gonna go out of the healthcare business and I'm gonna for myself. So I can start my own.
what do you need?
Fresh lunches.
Fresh
As
lunches?
all of you guys all know, you've all been at your desk, right? And when you're at your desk and it's the worst day ever, your kids drove you nuts in the morning, your day's going bad, what do you need to do? You need to recharge yourself, you need a fresh lunch, don't you? Well, I wanna go to, I have connections with all of the counties, and I know it's gotta be finished. But we need a fresh lunch, I'll deliver it. And that's what I'm saying.
What's in the lunch days? What's inside of it?
I actually had a picture from my phone. You got a good sandwich with fresh bread, because it's cheaper to make fresh bread than have somebody else make it for you. Lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and your choice. All the food that's left over is donated because it's called fresh lunches. I'm not gonna get that. Yeah, kettle chips, you get your choice of pop and roll.
So you're gonna go around to, you said the counties,
Yeah.
and try to get it into, like, have it put at their desks?
Deliver to their desk? Well, you don't have to go to their desk, you can go to the front, but you get the concept. It's coming to you, you can't leave your desk, so you need to recharge.
So, for instance, you go to like a county office and they have, I don't know, 100 employees, 50 employees or whatever. So you're saying you provide an X amount of big, these lunch things that can be provided. Or they order that.
They can order them, they gotta order them by 11:30, the delivery goes on at 12, and they're eating by 1 o'clock.
So they can get whoever wants it then.
Whoever wants it.
Oh, so it's not.
It's not just
Okay.
it.
Okay.
But how many times have you sat at your desk and you were starving, hungry, and didn't have time to go get anything to eat, but you really wanna eat?
So it's like Uber Eats. out in the country.
There you go!
You can't, I wanna start, my goal first is, I'm gonna start in our city, Pine City.
Okay.
And then if time allows, okay, because the one thing I did learn out of all my years, do not make anything about your employees. If your employees aren't happy, your customers aren't happy, right? Go with spin.
My name is John Sandberg. I live down by the small town of Alma. I'm a general partner in a farm. We crop about 1,100 acres, just short of 100 dairy cows. Dairy cows is my job. We have a milking parlor, so I work in a hole in the ground. And at our farm, it's been a century farm, or is a century farm. I have now milked longer in our facilities than my dad did, who built the facilities. And because milking cows is relatively repetitious, I end up with a lot of thinking time in my job. So I'm trying to come up with different ideas, or I do come up with different ideas. Some bring up to other people and they say, now what? So my idea is, I'm a dairy farmer by trade. My interests are maple syrup, honeybees, and general aviation flying, just for fun things to do. My idea is, if you're familiar with maple sap collection, there are primary ways of either a tube, and that's generally become vacuum now, or you have the old style is a bucket, and the bucket went to what they call a sap sack, which is generally a blue bag. I'm trying to develop a holder for the sap sack. And the benefit of my product is that it will not only hold the sap sack just like the other ones, or in similar concept, but mine will essentially look like a cup and stack. I'm not even, back up a half a step, I have a neighbor who is a CEO coach. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. His name is John Brecky. He deals with some major corporations. And I believe I am one of his funnest entertainment things. I'm a non-sequential thinker in a sequential job. And he thinks that's really kind of funny. We have some interesting conversations about myself and my brothers, because he's lived in the neighborhood for a long time and doesn't want to get between us and help us out. I hate that. Anyhow, so I come up with this job. I'm not really a super organized person, but as cups all stack, that's what I want to develop in a plastic injection molded type of thing. Essentially, it's a solo cup with a handle on the top, hole in the side. I live in Amador Township, so these are going to be Amadorable totems, because you can carry the sap sack around, tote them, and because they stack. Where the little hole is for the spigot, that's a nose. You could draw two little eyes on there and a smiley face if you've had a good year, and stack them up like a totem pole.
Is this an idea that's on paper, or have you developed a prototype?
I've got a couple of prototypes. I've got a buddy who works for plastic products in Lindstrom, and he has kind of convinced some of the engineers to help out, and so my engineering costs are really low, but really slow, because they're just doing it on the side. And
You need to buy more beer.
More direct access to them, because my input to them is through this other guy, and so, but
You may, because you came in on Jared's, but you may want to talk to Teresa back there, because she's got into the business of buying molds or getting molds made for her and getting her product made.
okay.
So you may want to connect with her a little bit too. Maybe she's got some pointers for you.
I know a contact in China.
Well, and I talked to a mold maker in Forest Lake.
They're 3 times as expensive as China.
Well, I think this guy has an interest of using some of them. I mean, he's interested in working with it after the product is done. Because I think his brother or some relative I know does sap. And so they have, I think that's part of his interest. But I don't know that for sure.
Do you think your product lends itself to 3D printing?
Oh, that's how my prototypes are built.
Okay, all right.
They're
Because
not,
manufacturing that way too, without molds.
at least the material we've used so far, they have not been durable. We've gotten proof of concept, and I've had good feedback from people in the industry that I've showed the prototypes to, except for everybody wants a bigger hole to dump it out of for speed. And that creates more problem. In wind with a big sack on there, when the wind is blowing and they're empty, they start propelling and fall off. It's not the same as a galvanized bucket. So, but when you're done with them, you clip a zip tie off, plastic bag goes away, you rent the other one, stack them up, and I have designed them to fit inside a 4-inch PVC, so we're developing essentially the long-term storage for them besides just a cardboard box. So and they are designed right at the moment specifically to fit in there instead of starting at 4 inches diameter and then building the little things that hold the lip that holds the bag on bigger than that because that would be too big. So. And in my initial run, I use almost 20 to 30% of my initial run expected just for our own use. So.
Good. Questions?
I've been reading a little bit about plastic and stuff.
Okay.
And they say that the lighter the plastic, the lighter color, the more recyclable it is. Is there any kind of restriction for maple syrup? Does it need a dark color to retain its vitamins and stuff?
I don't know that I really have no idea on that. The bags themselves, the sap sacks, have come in clear and blue, but the blue are more predominant. I don't know if that's just due to heating up that side of the tree when you cover the tree up, because the sap only flows when you have freezing and thawing. And my biggest concern for the plastic is that the inside, where the sap touches on the way out, is going to be as smooth as possible, so there's very little porous area for the sugar to get into and develop molds and whatnot. The outside isn't nearly as big a deal, even though you see that, but the inside, that's been traditionally problems with people that are thinking about building a plastic type product. So
I know it was a great question.
that's not one that I'm exactly familiar with. But.
Okay, well, again, you might want to talk to Teresa a little bit and have her talk to you about her experience with the molds and the plastic injection.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I said before 8, still shooting, still doing good. I won't get long-winded. What'd you think? Appreciate our speakers today?
Yes.
We have patents and
Intellectual property.
intellectual properties. Obviously, I'm not intellectual, because I remember that. But we have patents for next month. What else do you want?
Just listening today, some of the discussion on working with family or, building your team, I think that would be a good topic.
So,
I don't know what that would be, but.
okay. So when Jordan and Nancy and I make a phone call, okay, this is our 3rd meeting. That means Jordan's had input on one, Nancy's had input on another, and I've had input. We're tapped out, folks. We need, we need ideas.
Jerry, you got on marketing, that's really hard, there's a lot to that, there's a lot of teeth to it, so.
Yeah,
And
So we're talking
that
pricing
can go
and,
way into depth.
yeah, sales and
Distributors would be interesting, I
Right.
think, too. Yeah.
Sales reps,
different methods.
that's, yeah, that's,
Marketing
the
again,
sales
George,
reps is
marketing.
my expertise, my industry business. Yeah.
What about like leadership within companies and stuff like that? How, I don't know, just what makes a good leader and how can a leader, you know, turn the idea even more, you know, successful?
Okay. Got that answer?
Mhm.
Okay.
I
So
said it
John-
goes
Goes
like
like
a
a
family
team.
thing,
Yeah.
the way that you build it.
I mean, obviously we got some of that tonight, but you can always focus in more on it.
Okay. Anything else? Good topics.
Part of what Sharon and I work on somewhat is EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. And that gets into what is your mission, what is your values, and so on. It gets involved in, well, for one thing, setting up a scorecard. What are those things you really need to focus on and look at each week and know your own schedule? It may be what were our sales, what do we expect to be, but it also may be marketing. You know, we agreed we're making so many calls this week, so there's a lot of different aspects to it. It involves a 10-year bit. Where does this company want to be 10 years from now? If you want to sell it, that's a lot different than if you own one location and you want to expand to another town or another place. And that's different than if you rent and now, or you're working on your house and you want to have a place in 10 years, you know, your own standalone. So we have a 10-year and a 3-year. Where do we have to be 3 years on the road to get into the 10-year? And then what's the plan for this year? Specifically, what is our sales target, et cetera? And then you actually break it down into what they call rocks. What has happened this quarter, next quarter, next quarter, next quarter, so at the end of the year, we hit what our goal is. So that's the whole system. And it's big down in the metro, but kind of unknown here. But we've taken a little bit, some steps in that direction.
Others? Linda?
I ran into a guy who works with businesses to make sure that they've got the right paperwork for the structure that they have. For instance, if you're a C Corp, or if you're an S Corp, or if you're a partnership, what do you have to do and what are the legal requirements that you have to file every year in order to make yourself, to make sure that you're doing the right things and make sure that
So
you can find
different types of
mistakes.
business structures.
I like that.
And when to switch.
And when to switch.
Because I worked with Tom with when to switch mine, yeah.
Yeah, so he's out of St. Cloud.
Okay.
How to handle taxes.
How to handle taxes.
Those are fun.
When you figure that out, you let me know. This tax man ends up getting mine. Anything else?
I like to see, she was talking about, it's basically a service.
Yep.
that you're doing. Even though you have a product, it's the service. I have a service.
Yeah.
So how do you scale a service versus, some, a manufactured product?
Sure. Yeah, because it's still a business, a valuable business.
And there's only so much time that any one individual has to do this.
Sure.
So how can you, again, make it so that you're generating enough revenue that you're profitable?
Well, you sit really close to Jed, and you bleed some of that energy off of him, because he doesn't need it anymore. Company can run without him. I think you all sound like we like to have around here, huh?
You gotta build your team because you can only do so much in a day, so you gotta find somebody that can do the selling for you if that's not what your strong suit is. So how can you get, like what you just said, how do you get somebody to come in and scale a search? The business, it's still a product in a way, you're just selling, not a physical product, but you're still selling a product. It's a service, right? So you're still selling, so how do you market a service? So you gotta find the businesses you need, you can find someone that can do it, or you gotta go out and do it yourself.
And how do you manage to do all that
Well,
while you still have to earn money?
a good way, I
Keep
have.
yourself living.
You gotta grind.
Yeah.
Any other ideas?
I think a good one would be, it'd be tough, but social marketing, like Facebook and Instagram ads, because That's really where it's just going.
I don't have either of those.
I don't either. That's why I'm suggesting it. Does anyone know?
I do not make, I do not make a good social worker. because-
That's, what you said, your services, that's, a lot of services are online, on advertising like that.
There's a company called BusyWeb that does a lot of business, you know them, that do a lot of trainings for that.
Yeah.
Dave Meyer.
Dave Meyer, yeah.
Are you talking like SEO stuff too?
Not really, I'm talking more like ads, like, you know, when you're scrolling through Facebook or
Right.
Instagram, you see specific ads targeted to you because of things you're interested in. Like, if you have a service, you can narrow that stuff down to who you want your target to in a certain area that's like 10 miles or whatever. But I think that would be a very interesting.
That would be good, and SEO.
Yeah, yeah.
Another one would be how to build a website cheaply where you don't have to pay somebody.
Yeah.
Because I figured out how to just build it myself, because I'm like, I'm not paying this, and it took me a long time, and then I looked, this is so much easier than I thought it was. Like, this is not that hard. So just to have the knowledge of where to go, like WordPress or Shopify and all these things, just how to do it and how easy it actually is.
Oh, I know, yeah, the website is enabling right now.
And you have to ask yourself, what's the highest and best use of your time as a business owner? Is it out there hustling work? Is it building a website? Is it learning SEO? Is it trying to figure out marketing on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn? What do you do best? And that's what Jordan and Mark are trying to bring here, are the people that you can tap their brains
Exactly.
to do the other.
Thank you for that plug.
Yeah, that's what this is.
It's really what it is.
Record that and then play that when you're in doubt.
Yeah.
What do I do today?
Yeah.
But I'm good at it.
What's the highest and best use of my time?
So I am a little surprised. Nobody's mentioned this. More folks like Teresa and Jared in their story.
Definitely, testimonies.
Okay,
Love that.
so then what Nancy and Jordan are adding are for the 16 of you to phone a friend, tell them about this. If they have a business like Jared and Teresa, have them get in touch with us. Okay? Because I gotta tell you, this time of year, and Jordan's done most of the legwork, mine was easy. Send a text to Jared and say, hey, you're speaking. Okay. End of conversation. Right? But, you know, really, we tapped into 3-4 different people. Lauren Nelson was up, we had a couple others. I mean, people are busy, okay? We need more Jarens and Teresas to come and tell their story too, and help us out. So, what is the show? You got a lifeline, phone a friend?
Oh.
Who wants to be a millionaire, right?
I don't think they do that anymore.
Phone a friend, phone the audience, what was the third one?
50-50.
50-50, yeah. Okay, well, we got rid of the 50-50 already. We need a phone a friend here.
As long as we don't use all of them up on the first question.
We might make the million. Okay? So, I promised before 8. It's 2 minutes before 8. I'm gonna start cleaning up. You get to network. Talk to Teresa, talk to Jared, all those questions that you wanted to ask but were too shy to ask, they'll still be here for a couple minutes. And I promise not to kick you out until 1/4 after. Okay? Deal? All right, thanks for coming.